everyone, how are you today? Look, I'm doing a live today with Joan, one of my clients. How are you, Joan?
I am very well, thank you.
Cool.
Sheree?
It's so great to have Joan here with me because Joan has a story, as we all do. We all have a story of how our body works for us or against us. It can sometimes work well and sometimes not work well. And for a long time, Joan, your body was not working well, was it?
It certainly was not working well.
No?
It was working dreadfully.
Very badly.
Yes,
But
badly,
the bonus
yes.
is that there's good things that can be done.
Oh, yes.
So, Joan, I want to
Yes.
ask you, first of all, what was your job before you retired? What was your profession?
I was a secondary teacher and worked for just on 47 years teaching.
And teaching maths?
Yes, mainly maths.
Yeah.
I started off as a maths science, but unfortunately had to drop the science and go to all of maths in the secondary.
Sounds great fun. I'm not a maths person, so that doesn't appeal to me at all. Joan, I want to ask you, what was your life like before you started strength training?
I had retired and I found that I was getting stiffer and stiffer to the fact that I was limping badly. Couldn't get up the step at home, and it's only a single step.
One step. Wow.
One step.
Yeah.
And I had to ask my friend for a walking stick, and that would help me up the step. When I went out, I walked because I found that I did trip at times.
Yep.
Because I couldn't lift my leg, that one leg,
Yep.
high enough, and I was very inclined to trip. So the walking stick was an aid. And when I went to Melbourne to see my son, I had to shimmy up the stairs on my bottom.
Really? They didn't put you in the lift? No, you didn't want to go on the lift? They do have a lift you can get up. You don't need to shimmy up your bum.
They don't have a lift.
You go on your bum, seriously?
Yes, in the house.
Oh
I
my
shimmied up on my bottom.
But not
to
when you
the
went on the
bedroom.
plane. You didn't
Oh,
shimmy
no,
up your
no,
bum.
no, no.
How did you get up on the plane?
I went up in the...
Oh, you did go up in the
lift,
Okay.
yes, on the plane. At home, I shimmied up the stairs on my bottom.
Okay, wow.
And so they decided, my sons decided it was not good enough. So they went off looking for help for me, unbeknownst to me. And so I flew home again and was rang by my son to say that I had an appointment with a trainer, etc. And no, I'll go back a step.
Yeah, I think
because I missed the doctor.
Yeah,
I had
the consultant.
Yes, so my son found a consultant, or his wife found a consultant, and so I flew back to Melbourne and went to this consultant. He examined me and he lifted my legs and my arms and made me do all sorts of things and said, "You've got no muscle tone at all."
And that's so common. We don't know until we get aches and pains and can't do things.
Yes, so I expected it to go on a whole lot of tablets and a whole lot of other things. And so he walked back into the room where my son Mark was sitting, and he said, "All your mother needs to do is strength training. She has got to take all of the weight off her joints and do a lot of muscle work." He said I would need to start off with a single tutor that just did strength training.
So one-on-one training.
One-on-one training for at least 3 to 5 months.
Yep.
And I thought, coming a gym junkie
not.
at 73, yes, I took it with a grain of salt and paid the enormous fee and walked off. When I flew back in, I had a phone call from Mark to say that one of my sons to say I had an appointment the next day with Sheree King. And I thought, oh yeah. And he said, yeah. And he said, we've paid 3 months worth of strength training for you. So the two sons, Mark and Craig, had paid the first 3 months, and I thought, oh, hell.
And that was coming 3 times a week?
3 times a week I had to go, and I thought, oh, dear. So I clambered up the stairs. She had the studio up this huge flight of stairs.
There were quite a few stairs, unfortunately.
And I clambered up the stairs, and that was the start of it.
The start of it, Joan, when you first started there that first day, what did you think? Were you nervous? Were you kind of thinking, what am I in for? How'd you feel?
I felt like thinking up excuse of how I was going to get out of it all. Yes.
But remembering back, Joan, by the second or third time, you thought, wow, I'm already starting to feel the benefits.
The first lesson, I thought, quite funny, because the first thing you did was get me up off the floor by myself. And I managed that, and I thought, yes.
I can do this.
Yes.
Good.
And so the next day, lesson, I went and I did a bit more, and I thought, yeah, I think I can. And then, of course, the two sons were ringing to say, now, how are you going? Are you going? And I'm thinking, oh. And because they had paid, I felt obliged to really put an effort in it. So after about the third lesson, I decided I could do it.
That's fantastic. Do you think it helps to have someone believe in you as well?
Oh, yes.
Like,
yes.
I believed in you too.
Yes. Oh, yes. You told me that I would be very fit by the time I'd finished.
I don't know if I've said quite those words, but I knew it should be changed.
That's what she meant.
And because, Joan, the thing about you, you've stuck to it. You see, the thing about some people, they can start a strength training program, and it doesn't need to be hard. It can just be with a band, something lighter, lightweight.
Yes.
And, Joan, when you first came in, you weren't on big weights. You were on tiny weights.
Oh,
That's
yes,
all you could do.
yes.
And that's what was good, is that Joan progressed along, didn't you, Joan?
Yes,
And now what do you lift? 12 kilograms?
Yes,
sometimes
yes,
10?
yes.
12s?
Yes, I can. And I probably don't go above 10 to 12.
Yeah, which
because I find that my life has just changed completely.
Dramatically, hasn't it?
Yes.
So, Joan, I want to go back to that. So, your life beforehand, you would tell me that you'd sit on the bed at night in pain. You know, you were just in so much pain.
Yes.
So, as you started to do some strength training, did you find that pain started to decrease?
It started to increase after the first 3 lessons.
But it's good pain because you're working muscle.
Yes. I had to go back to the surgeon or the doctor in 3 months' time, and he took one look at me and said, my goodness.
He could see.
Oh, he said, you have certainly put every effort into what you've done.
Yep.
And even my grandson, who was living in Melbourne, said to his mother when I wasn't around, what's happened to Nanny?
I love that. And Joan, wasn't it that when you started to get fitter, you inspired your whole family?
Oh,
Didn't
yes.
your sons then go on a fitness challenge and your grandkids and the whole family?
Yes.
How cool is that?
Certainly did. They could see the benefits of strength training and what I could do.
Yep.
No longer shimmying up the stairs, straight up the stairs.
That is so good. And I remember you said your consultant, when you first went to see him, you said, but I should be okay. I walk every week.
Yes.
You walked every day,
Yes.
just about. You swam 3 times a week or something. And he said to you, that's not enough, Joan. When you get to your age, you need strength training.
He said that was only for leisure. He
there
said
you
that
go.
would not tone up the muscles so that they took over from the joints. The joints were very painful, very swollen and very painful, especially the knees and ankles.
Yeah.
And that now has gone.
That's so good, Joan. Reminding people, I should have probably said it at the start, but you have osteoarthritis?
Yes.
And
not actually osteoarthritis. I have an arthritis that is linked to lupus.
Okay.
And it's a sort of arthritis that it goes into a joint and it stays there.
Yep.
And it gives that joint hell.
Yep.
And then it'll attack another joint or two joints. I have found that lessened and lessened and lessened with more strength training.
So good.
I learnt that because I felt so good after 3 months, I kept going 3 times a week.
Yep.
And I suppose it was 9 months, and then I dropped back
down
to
to 2.
two.
Yeah, to maintain.
Yes.
But you know, the good thing, Joan, is that we don't just stay with the one thing. We are working all different parts of your bodies all the time, aren't we? So we're changing all the things that we do to get things strong. So Joan today, I did a workout just before she came to do this live. So she has worked her glutes today. She's worked her abs. She's worked her chest, shoulders, legs. We've done the whole thing today. And Joan, you always seem to do well. Like sometimes I say to Joan, you don't need to do this to that degree. Let's just change it. She goes, no, I want to see what I can do. And that's the sort of person I think that you are, Joan. Also, you will attempt something that you think you might be able to do, but not sure.
That's right. And and the specialist told me when I complained of sore leg, he said, oh, well, just strengthen it more.
Every time Joan's gone back to her consultant with a problem, he said, oh, well, that just needs to be strengthened more. I love the guy's whole outset because he has just not prescribed you. I don't think, did he prescribe you some tablets as well?
No.
No, there you go. No tablets. She was not prescribed tablets, just strength training. And it has totally transformed your life. Joan, what would you say your life is now compared to what it was like before?
Oh, it's 90% because I have very few lupus flare-ups.
So that's helped that as well.
Oh gosh, yes. And he said it would.
Yep.
He said that the happier you are, the better you'll feel, the less lupus flare-ups you'll get.
So
and
good.
It was true.
Wow.
The tablets that I do take for lupus to keep it at bay have lessened.
Yeah. That's so good.
Yes, blood pressure's gone, tablets have gone down.
So good.
Yes.
See, there's all these benefits. It's not just one.
No,
it encompasses much.
Yes.
That is so good.
Yes.
And Joan, what you're saying now that you feel so strong and good, don't you, when you get on a plane now, you help other people with their bags into the overhead locker?
Yes, I have, yes.
And you climb up things to paint, you climb up...
Yes, I've recently painted the... garage.
It's good.
Yes.
And you do things for other people. So Joan's now where she needed help before, she's now out to help others because she just knows how good her body feels.
Yes,
so it's
it does.
Good, Joan.
Yes.
I just wanted to say, what's the best thing you like about your rheumatology consultant? I love this consultant that Joan went to see because he's so pragmatic. This is how it is. This is what you need to do. What do you like about him?
I suppose his directness. I mean, he's not at all rude or anything about it, but he gets out his screens on different joints and says, now that muscle needs to be strengthened there. And he's even told me to tell my strength trainer, Sheree, to work on this or work on that because it's not up to scratch, etc.
But most of the time, you are up to scratch.
He's amazed at what we can do. He used to have a small gym attached to one of his rooms, consulting rooms, at the Footscray Hospital. And so he said, now let's go and have a practice there. And I looked at the weights, I looked at what he had, and I said, you're kidding.
Joan felt the weights were way too small.
Oh,
she said to him, have you got anything bigger? They are way too small. So he stopped asking her to go into the gym.
Yes, he does not mention it anymore.
So, Joan, there was more than one time that you came back and said, whatever you're doing for your body, continue to do it. Because he was so impressed, because he'd feel you, wouldn't he?
Oh, yes.
This isn't in a bad way, but sometimes you just need to feel whether someone's got some muscle mass. And so he'd go, wow, whatever you're doing, keep doing it, because he's impressed.
He was very impressed. He hoped that some of his
other clients
and patients would do the same. He was amazed.
You know, what is good about strength training, Joan, and this is what I love, with anyone that comes through the door, you can be fit already or you can be so unfit or no muscle at all. And what I love about strength training is you can alter it to suit every person.
And I was the most unfit.
Joan was one of those ones that I love to train with because I love somebody that's body is not working for them, because it's such a joy to a trainer like me, Joan,
yes,
and a nurse as well. I'm a nurse, so it's a joy to me to see someone progress along and knowing that your body's now starting to work for you, and you can take your dog walking if you need to.
Yes,
you know,
do what I like.
Whatever you want to do, Joan, you can do, and it hasn't stopped you. And I think Joan does more trips back over to see her kids over in Melbourne now.
Yes.
Than what you did before.
And run up the steps of the plane, throw up my luggage, and even a gentleman once said, "Could I help you put that up?" And I said, "No, thanks, I can manage."
I'll help you. I love it, Joan. That's so good. So what are your favourite pieces of equipment when you come to our gym or at home? What are your favourite piece of equipment to train on? Joan does not like, I'll say for a start, we have a bar where you do chin up, so even if the ladies only do a little kind of small jump and chin up, that's not fun for most of us. What's your favourite piece of equipment?
I think I like the ball.
The fit balls?
Yes,
the
fit balls, yes.
Yeah.
I just love a whole session on fit balls.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, we seem to do a lot of others as well, and as long as it's not chin-ups, I'm happy.
Absolutely. What's good at what Joan is talking about, those big airfield balls, what's good about them? They challenge your balance. So when you first came along, Joan, your balance was not so good as well. So
the balance was hopeless.
Yeah,
Say the right words.
Absolutely.
Hopeless.
Okay, it was not good at all. But because training on these fit balls, it actually balances you up. You know, you have to learn to kind of, if it's rolling to one side, your whole brain has to send messages through to your body to kind of get you to adjust yourself. So wonderful thing to work on fit balls, because you do work all sorts of body parts, but you're also working the reflexes as well. Joan, do you think you'll ever decide to stop strength training?
No, I don't think so. No, because at my age, if you sit down for too long, and I have noticed when I've been away, that when I come back, I think, and I have learnt and to keep it up, because I want to be able to move as much as I can for as long as I can, because I am not young.
No.
And my body's not young. Yeah. And I want to live the life and hopefully not sit in a retired home.
That's great. Yeah. I love that idea, because you're right, Joan, the more we sit, we were not designed to sit, we were designed to move. And I think when you've gotten to the point where you have your body's working so well, you don't want to go back to where you were 3 years ago. That would not be where you want to go. So I agree. I think it becomes just a lifestyle.
Oh, yes.
Factor.
Yes.
It's just part of your life
now.
Yes.
It's in the diary every date that it's gym day.
Yeah, I love that. And Joan, you've told me a few times before that people in your Probus Club and stuff have said, I'd love to be like you. You're so strong, Joan, and stuff. But Joan, do you think you can say that, but you've got to put in some work as well?
You have got to put in a lot of work. And when I first started, I thought, no. I've never been inside a gym until yours.
Wow, that's cool.
And I thought,
Gym... Woo! I was the first, pretty cool.
Yes, I thought, Gym Junkie at 73. No way. And look now, if you hadn't seen me then, I was overweight. I'm still a bit overweight, but I function.
Yeah.
And as long as I'm functioning well and everything works...
I think it's great, Joan. Because the aim for all of us should be a body that works for us, particularly as we get into older age. A body that works for us is the main thing. And that may mean you need to lose some weight. Yes. But, you know, a body that is strong has far more chance to do all the things you want to in life. And you do want to go over to see your grandkids in 1 hour flight away. And Joan, it's great that you can do it.
And I want to be able to play down ball with them and shoot a basketball.
Absolutely.
And
Grandmum, come over here, or whatever they call you, Nan? What do
Yeah,
they call
Nan.
you? Nan, come over here and shoot a basketball.
Yes,
with me.
I do, yes.
Hello, how good is that?
Yes.
And you can get down the floor if you
Oh,
need
yes,
to.
yes.
Joan did say to you, and I couldn't recall that, but when I obviously first see someone, I think it's really important to learn to get down and up off the floor, and that can be, there's ways and means to do that. So if you haven't been down the floor for 10 years, which some people haven't, there's ways and means to do that as well. So that's great, Joan. You don't find it too hard to get up off the floor now?
No, I do not have to crawl to the nearest
Good.
object to get
Good.
up.
It's fantastic, because
Yes.
you don't know when you might be out walking
No.
with your dog one day, and we get in a cold climate here in winter that you may go down. You want to be able to get up again and not have to rely on a
And I do not trip as much.
Great.
I can freely walk and lift my feet without hurting the ankles and the knees, and yes.
So good.
It is so good, yes.
So, Joan, what are your goals from here?
Goals from here are to keep as fit as I can, to make sure that I keep my lupus under control, to make sure that I don't get any colds, because that will flare up the lupus, and being fit helps all of that.
Great.
It
So good.
really helps it. And I shall continue.
Good. I'm glad.
I shall complain at times,
Joan's funny.
but
in class.
will continue.
She's the loud one. She tells the other girls, go harder, come on, pick up that weight. She's pretty cool.
Yes.
I like it. Joan, did it help? I'm just wondering, it just occurred to me this morning, did it help, or did you know that I was a nurse? Do you think it helps a trainer such as me to be a nurse because I understand bodies more and diseases more?
Well, when my son rang round, he obviously talked to you, and I don't know what he asked you, but he chose you out of everybody.
Pretty cool.
And when I was at the specialist said, oh, she's a good trainer. And I said, yes, she's a nurse. Oh, he said, oh, well, she would understand joints.
Yeah.
And I know you keep saying to me when I've got a joint pain through something or other, and I do get occasional joint pains.
As we all do.
As we all do, yes, exactly. And you immediately say, don't do that, it'll hurt. Don't do this. Also, you've helped with my nutrition. Yes,
good.
Because you're a nurse, you know the right things to eat.
Absolutely, and I am a coach in that area.
Yes, you
so,
are.
So a nutrition coach.
Yes,
so good,
certainly.
Joan. I think it's great. Look, I think there's a whole pile of things that come into one thing. I think you get a body strong, you learn to stretch it, so you get more mobility, you get good diet into your mouth, and suddenly you are a ball of health, whereas before, not. So you can walk all you want, but if you're not adding these other things into the whole equation, you're not doing yourself the best service you can.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Every muscle, even the hands, they used to be so swollen. And look.
Wow, Joan. And that's because when we strength train, we do have to hold on to things. So we actually, when we need to hold onto something, then suddenly I'm working all the way down through my forearm, into my wrist, into my hands. So you're right, Joan. We're working, and even feet, because we stand on one leg doing some of our stuff.
Yes.
You're working all those tiny little muscles right through your feet and ankles.
Yes.
Pretty cool. And Joan, I was just going to ask. Oh, yes. No, I think that was about it. Anything else that what would you like to say to someone out there right now, Joan, that goes, I am kind of like her, I have arthritis, or I can't move, or I'm too old. What would you say to someone out there that one, can't move, or two, they think they're too old? Talk to them, Joan.
Sell your house and come to Sheree.
I'm here in Tasmania, Australia. I'd love to see you.
But no, look, go to the gym. Grit your teeth, start, you'll see a huge improvement. It takes, I suppose, 3 months till you start to really, really get a huge benefit. You can see improvements each week, but just keep going. That's the main thing.
Great.
Don't give in.
Great
you will
advice.
achieve anything.
That's good, Joan. And you didn't feel your age was something to stop you? You felt like you know that didn't hold you back?
Well, I thought at the start it would, but it didn't. No.
Good. There you
And
go.
so many people are astounded at what now I can do because they knew me before, and I had moved schools, and so the older teachers that came to see me could not believe the change in me. So if I can do it, anyone can do it.
I agree with you, Joan. Anyone
do.
can. And look, if you're out there and you wanted to start to strength train, I do one-on-one online via Zoom. So you can get onto spicefitness.com. That's spicefitness.com. Or if you didn't want to train one-on-one, we also have an online program for $5 a week where you just train at home yourself. But we guide you through all the moves and how to do things properly. There's a whole lot of stuff in there as well. So for $5 a week, you can train yourself at home, or you can train one-on-one with me if you feel like you'd like to do a few to start with before you roll into that. We'd love to see you on there. So spicefitness.com. Joan, thank you.
So you don't have to sell your house.
Oh, you don't have to sell your house. You don't have to sell your house.
Get online.
And thank you for joining us today. It's been great. If you has anyone asked any questions on there? Because I can't see it. It's zoomed around there. I know some of you will be watching this on replay, so please enjoy it. If you have any questions, just pop that in and I'll have a check of it after. Thank you, Joan, for joining us today, and have a great day, everyone. Bye.
Thank you, Sheree.